Okay, so for this first one up here, we have two ways we could go about solving that. We could either make that 1/8 x plus 1/3 x and combine them, or we can multiply by a common denominator. Which approach do you guys prefer? Multiply by a common denominator, which is going to be what? 24. So we have 24 over 1 times x over 8. 24 and 8 are going to cross cancel. Give me 1 and 3. So 3 times x is 3x. I'm just going to write that up here. 24 over 1 times x over 3. The 3 and the 24 cross cancel, give me 1 and 8. So 8 times x is 8x. Then I have 24 times 22, which is 528. Is that correct? Okay. Maybe. We're just going to assume I'm right. Now we're going to combine 3 and 8x make 11x. Equals 528. And then divide by 11. X equals 48. How many of you had x equals 48? Okay. I was distracting you.
Why is that over 11?
Because it's 11x. We're dividing by 11 to get rid of the 11. Okay, this crosses off. We divide this side by 11, gives us the 48. No, there's nothing to add or subtract on this one. 48. Yep. So on to the second one. We see parentheses, which should scream at us, do something here first. So nothing to do inside the parentheses. So we're going to multiply the parentheses times 3/4. What is 3/4 times 1 and 1/3 x? Just 1x, or x. I'll put the 1 in front of it. It's fine. 3/4 times 1 and 1/3. Well, 1 and 1/3 is 4/3. Everything cross cancels, gives you 12 over 12 or 1. So then 3/4 times 3 and 1/5 is, it's a negative 12/5. Or 2 and 2/5. 3/4 times negative 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1 is 16/5. 4 and 16 cross cancel, give me 1 and 4, so it's a negative 12 over 5. So negative 12/5. Now this x over 2, I'm going to change that to 1/2 x equals 7 3/8. Yep. Yeah, 3 and 1/5, that became 16/5, negative 16/5. And I multiplied by the 3/4. So now I have 1x and 1/2 x, that's 1 1/2 x, minus my 2 and 2/5. That's the negative 12/5 is a negative 2 and 2/5. Equals 7 3/8. Now what am I going to do? Well, we're going to add 2 and 2/5 to get rid of that. Leaving with just 1 1/2 x here. Plus 2 and 2/5 here is going to give me 9 and 31/40. You're ready for the sharp stick? Common denominator is going to be 40. 8 times 5, so 3 times 5 is 15. 5 times 8, so 2 times 8 is 16. 15 and 16 make 31/40. 7 and 2 make 9. Now what? Well, you can do the fractions on your calculator if you want to. Use the fraction calculator. So now we can divide by 1 1/2. So we're left with just x here. 9 and 31/40 divided by 1 and 1/2. Well, 9 and 31 40ths. 9 times 40 is 360, plus 31 is 391 40ths. 1.5 is going to be 3 halves. So then 391 over 40 times 2 over 3. The 2 and the 40 cross cancel to give me 20 and 1. This is 391 over 60, which is 6 and 31 60ths. So x is 6 and 31 60ths. See how easy that is? Anybody actually get 6 and 31 60ths?
Just now.
Just now, about 2 seconds after I did.
We're back. Where did you get the 3/4 from the top?
The 3/4
Doesn't seem hard. It's just
here,
Yeah.
that was given. That was part of the problem.
Oh, alright. Oh, you circled it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. That's just because we had to use that, since we had the parentheses, we had to multiply everything in the parentheses by the 3/4.
so a 1 over the x. Well, it's a 1/2.
Where? X over 2,
Yeah.
that's the same as 1/2 times x, because it'd be 1/2 times x over 1, which gives me x over 2. So I just split that up into 1/2 times x.
Where does the 1x come from, Todd? I mean,
Three-
3/4 times 1 1/3?
Yeah, 3/4 times 1 1/3 is just 1, so that's 1x.
Okay.
Hey, can you go down a little?
There you go. How you guys feel?
Not well. Hey, go to the nurse.
Oh, let's give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? Okay, there's a few of you still working on the quiz, and as always, please feel free to take as much time as you need to finish up. We're going to go ahead and talk briefly about our new material here. So we're going to look at something like this today. Given a phrase like this, 7 more than a number, can we put that in symbols? 7 plus a number, we represent the number with x or n or y or whatever. Or x plus 7, it could be 7 plus x or x plus 7, it really doesn't matter. 7 more than actually implies that 7 has been added to something. So x plus 7 is technically more accurate. But there are a lot of other ways we could represent x plus 7. For example, we might say a number increased by 7. Can you think of any other ways we might represent it? You'd be looking at subtraction taken away. Maybe a number plus 7. The sum of a number and 7. 7 added to a number. All sorts of phrases that could be a number x plus 7. How about this one? A number decreased by 4. What's that one going to look like? Well, decreased by implies subtraction. X minus 4 or n minus 4 or whatever we want to do. Now again, there are a lot of phrases that would imply subtraction, like 4 less than a number. Or as you said, a number take away 4. Any others? Four subtracted from a number. The difference of a number and 4. And again, there's a lot of others that can be put on that list. We might have This one's pretty straightforward. 8 times the number is going to be 8 times n, or 8 times x, or we can just write 8x. That implies 8 times x, right? So we could have a number multiplied by 8. A number repeated 8 times. The product of a number and 8. All sorts of ways, again, to express 8 times x, or 8x. A number split 3 ways. How's that going to be expressed? X divided by 3 or x over 3. Both of those would represent x divided by 3. And again, there's a lot of other ways we could express x divided by 3. We could actually say a number divided by 3. Or the quotient of a number and 3. So there's all sorts of different ways we can express each operation. Now the tricky part comes when we start putting the operations together. For example, we might have 7 times a number decreased by 4. How would I write that? Seven x minus 4. You got it. 7 times the number, 7x, decreased by 4, subtract 4. 4 less than 7 times the number. What's that going to look like?
4 minus 7.
Well, 4 less than means you're subtracting 4 from something. You're subtracting it from 7 times the number, 7x. It's the exact same thing. How about this one? Seven times the sum of a number and 4. Is that the exact same thing? Say no. What's different? In both of these, it was 7 times the number. 7 times the number. So that was 7x. Down here, it's 7 times the sum. What is a sum? Careful. It's still 7 times.
7 times x plus 4.
Okay, that's exactly it. The sum is the result of an addition problem. So the sum of the number and 4, x plus 4, has to happen first. And the way we signify that it has to happen first, we put it in parentheses.
Yeah.
Yep, so that's what you were trying to say. Yeah. So it's 7 times that in parentheses. Personally, I believe that this is the toughest thing to do in math, is to take words and put it into symbols. So about the only way to get good at it is to practice it. So I'm going to give you some to practice. In your book, on page 260, it is exercise 6.5, 1 through 25, the odds. Tomorrow, we will finish up our lecture for Unit 4, which means we're cut short on our time. But what we'll probably do is after we come back from break, we'll do a review and then do our test after we come back from break.